So if part of that money that you're refusing to take from the mayoral salary goes back into also services, surely around 50,000 will probably only cover about a library or a
Yeah, you're right.
or an under 5 centre.
Yeah.
How else are you going to raise the money to fund reopening these centres?
Good question, Johnny. It's going to be raised by scrapping the PFI contracts. Most of your readers will know, most of your listeners or your viewers will probably know a bit about PFI. There was something on Radio 4 about it just the other day. Private Finance Initiative. So you will probably remember the Save Lewisham Hospital campaign. Those 2 hospitals in Greenwich, that's the borough of Greenwich, and borough of Bromley, that were built under PFI, cost 210 million to build. But the repayments over the 25-year lifespan of the Private Finance Initiative contracts amount to 1,200 million. And it was because of that Lewisham was under threat. They wanted to close Lewisham, force us all to go to Woolwich. It's the same with the schools that have been built in Lewisham. If you look on my website, there's a page on PFI. It shows how much was paid back on the loans by 2006 or 2008, depending on the case. But on the right-hand side of each graph, you see how much the total repayments are. But it's 5 or 6 times what the real cost was. This is just loan sharking, and I will use the clause in international law that is called odious debts. Odious debt means that if a dictator in some country gets into debt for his country, you know, borrowing money from banks and stuff, and then he's overthrown, that the people of that country don't have to be held liable for the debt. It's called odious because it's hateful debt. It's actually a biblical concept, but it is a principle in law. Now, we didn't ask Steve Bullock to spend £90 million on the street lighting contract with Skanska. We didn't ask Steve Bullock if he'd do the maintenance in Brockley housing by PFI. So we were not consulted. He didn't say he was going to do that in his manifesto before being elected. So I think there's a good case for saying it's odious debt. I'm not saying we'd ask for the money back, but we would just say, no more payments. You've had your money 4 or 5 times over, you banks, you know. We're not going to give you any more. And that would release lots of money for all the things that I just mentioned and more besides.